Hey guys, I am getting interviewed for a podcast today, and I thought it would be fun to bring you along. So I don't know how really interesting this is going to be to watch or, what I'll be able to record of it. I'm just doing it from home. I've actually been interviewed by people before regarding my LuLaRoe stuff. Actually, a couple people doing different like school projects on direct sales or LuLaRoe or different types of topics. So I've been interviewed, but I've never gotten to see the final result of any of those interviews. So I'm really excited for this one because the woman who reached out to me is actually like a prolific podcaster. I've listened to a few of her episodes, and she really seems to have like done her research as far as actually watching what I've put out there already, and she was able to comment on a lot of things about my experience already. So, every time somebody reaches out to me about this, I'm like, look, I don't really have a lot of juicy stories. I didn't really have like a very extreme experience. But I think that's kind of what she's looking for, is just like a normal person who has a professional job. What was my experience like, and what are my thoughts about LuLaRoe, coming from this perspective. So once I, heard a little more from her about what she was kind of expecting out of this interview, I do think like I'll be a good fit with what she's looking for, the style of her podcast. So I'm really excited about it, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Oh, good. It's morning still. I've been in meetings all morning, so this will be a nice little break before my afternoon meetings. Yeah, and this is an early day for you too, right? You already had something before this. It was almost scary how different they were personality-wise from the interview to the deposition. And I luckily have never been deposed personally. I know people get a lot of instruction from their lawyers about how they should behave and how they should answer questions. It was almost like somebody just told them, like, shut down, don't answer anything, don't say anything. I don't know if you've seen the actual full recordings of almost all of the depositions in that case have been made available now on YouTube. So the filmmakers got them just by requesting from the state, and anyone could request them. So actually Becca Peter, who is also featured in the documentary, she and some of the other people that she's been working with have gotten their own copies of all the depositions, and they edited them and cut them into chunks and posted them on YouTube, so you can find all of them now. And I've watched a couple, and they're really interesting. I mean, they're very long. They're hours and hours of footage, but it's interesting how some of the people who worked for LuLaRoe, majority of the people were like their family members, may or may not have been qualified to do the jobs they were doing. In a couple roles, they did have actual professionals, and those people are really interesting to watch because they actually do, they can give real answers to the questions. They have the knowledge of the systems and things that they were hired to do. So it's interesting watching their depositions versus some of the family members who are just kind of shut down and don't answer or give any information. I think people are just sold a dream. Especially women are targeted who might have made a career change or, done something to be able to stay home with their family, and they want to be able to contribute more. There's a lot of social pressures and there's a lot of pressures in certain religions to fulfill that like motherhood role, but you still want to feel like a vital contributing member of your family and society. So I can see how people really get taken in that way. Like, here's a way that you can do both and you can have it all. I don't have kids, so I didn't have that pressure. Like I said, it was never my goal to quit my day job. And I feel like with LuLaRoe, a lot of the people who got in earlier in the company, it really was run more like a business. The people who came later, as it really took off and, the base of the pyramid expanded wider and wider, it became more of, look how successful these people who were already in it are. You can make your money back right away. It's really no risk. Just go ahead and you're gonna become a millionaire too. So I think those people really were you know, shown an inaccurate example of what things were going to be like for them, and kind of, again, you know, just had this dream and it sort of took off. Like Teeks, the shoes Teeks, that's like a very, I don't know if you're familiar with them, they're kind of a expensive brand of shoes that people get really obsessed over. They were huge with LuLaRoe. Certain brands of like handbags and things people really got, you know, into collecting and showing off. So it was just funny that you can't show off with your designer clothing, but you can show off in other ways. And of course, cars or homes. I know at least a couple, you know, people a couple steps above me in my line in LuLaRoe who like built huge custom homes or moved somewhere. Yeah, so, and I mean, I don't doubt that they had that kind of money at that time. I don't think they were overextending themselves, but I wonder kind of how they're able, if they're able to maintain them now that things have, you know, slowed down across the company. Well, that was really nice. I think it went really well. It was nice that Jennifer was able to send me most of her questions in advance, so I kind of, even though it's things that I've talked about before and I had some idea of what to say, I was able to kind of like make myself a couple bullet points just to stay on track, which is good. And I think she said the podcast will come out in probably a couple of weeks, so when that occurs, I will definitely add a link to it here.